really nice to look at all the birds and canoe out on the lake.
We run roughly about a 95% success rate at initial attack.
In 1972, the Park Commission proposed a stream bylaw to Burnaby because all the storm sewer lines all drained into Burnaby Lake.
Hi, I'm Candace Ng, and you're watching The Sustainable Region. Today, we're at Campbell Valley Regional Park in Langley. Depending on where you live, you might not have heard of it, but it's actually bigger in size than Stanley Park. And if you've never been here before, it's well worth a visit. During today's show, we'll show you some reasons why. First of all, there's the nature house you see behind me, where park volunteers share their knowledge about the natural and cultural history of the park. Here, you can check out interactive displays and sign up free discovery packs for self-guided exploration of the park. Educating the public about nature is a key goal of Metro Vancouver's regional park system. In fact, work is underway right now at another regional park, Kanaka Creek, to construct the first ever purpose-built facility for education and conservation. It is the end of the old Bell Irving hatchery at Kanaka Creek Regional Park and the beginning of an ambitious plan to replace it, and to build a state-of-the-art facility that will include Metro Vancouver's first Watershed Stewardship Centre. It's a plan that's been a long time coming.
Gosh, we've been working on this for 10 or 12 years and lots of meetings with community groups and partners to come to the point that we are today, where we've got some activity now, deconstruction, and we're excited to get the construction phase started up.
The old hatchery was originally a sheep barn. Over its 30 years of use as a hatchery, it was home to more than 8 million salmon fry that were then released into the lower mainland's various watersheds.
And say goodbye to your chum, Fry. Bye.
Despite that impressive accomplishment, the president of the Kanaka Education and Environmental Partnership Society is not sorry to see the old hatchery go. Even though building a new facility will have an unfortunate but necessary impact on fish protection.
We're having to cut back on the number of fish that we're going to be producing at the hatchery because we don't have a hatchery for 6 months. But we were able to rear all of our fry and release them, and we'll still get our brood stock for our chum and coho, bring them up here and keep them in the troughs, and still allow ourselves to raise approximately 70,000 fry.
The new facility will become a gateway to the park, featuring a stewardship center with classroom and display space, as well as an observation deck over the creek itself. The new hatchery includes an enclosed area for egg incubation, as well as an open-air structure designed to shelter the troughs from wind and rain. But it's not just about the fish.
Thank you. Oh, look at all the fishes!
If you can reach one young child about the importance of protecting the Kanaka watershed, that goes a long way. They go home and they tell their parents and their friends. So we're really excited about the Stewardship Centre and having a really nice facility to get that message out to as many folks as we can.
To share the bounty and the beauty that we have in this watershed. That's a big part of what the Kanaka team, our group of volunteers and Metro Vancouver, want to see with this, because the more we can help, the greater the likelihood in 300 years we're still going to have what we have here.
The way the old hatchery was demolished fits into Metro Vancouver's sustainability principles. The construction will be done in the most eco-friendly manner, starting with how the building came down.
I could throw all this demo in a bin right now and take it to the landfill, but that's not what we do at Assertive. We try to recycle as many materials out of that building as we can. Metal, siding, wood gets recycled.
Metro Vancouver, the Federal Department of Fisheries and Oceans, and Keeps have all provided funds for the project, but it's hoped members of the local community will also chip in. To that end, the Pacific Parklands Foundation is embarking on its first capital campaign to raise $500,000.
We will be doing a direct mail campaign. We will be focusing it on the citizens of Maple Ridge and Pitt Meadows. We're so passionate about this project that we think that we're going to be successful. So we're really trying to encourage the local residents, those that really benefit from the centre, to get behind us and support us.
The opportunity exists not only if you've got time to swing a hammer or to do some painting or to be helping move materials around. The opportunity also exists to please help us with a $10, $50, $100, $1,000, $2,000 donations. And it goes back into the community.
Donations can be made online at pacificparklands.com. People who donate $50 or more will receive a tax receipt.
No donation is too small, whether it's $5, $50 or $500. All of those donations will go a long way in helping this project become a reality.
Check this out. A cantaloupe. And now, a plastic bag.
Kids, stop annoying the yard bin.
Put all your food scraps and food-soiled paper into your yard waste bin, but no plastic bags, please.
For some people, getting out to our regional parks is inspiring enough to consider a career in recreation. That's the goal of one Vancouver-based organization that focuses on Aboriginal youth. Last year, they connected with 2 different Metro Vancouver park programs, and there will be more in 2013. Here's a look at some of their recent visits.
I really enjoyed it.
I just love it.
It was a lot of fun.
These comments could have been from any of the millions of annual visitors to Metro Vancouver regional parks. But for this group, there was a special resonance. Walking in a lush forest, or paddling on a sunny lake. These activities don't often happen for this group of Aboriginal youth from Vancouver.
Red Fox is a outdoor and indoor recreation program, and what we try to do with our program is to inspire Aboriginal youth and youth in the inner city to not only enjoy recreation, but to actually consider it as a career choice. So bringing them out here exposes them to the world of outdoor recreation.
Sutherland met with Metro Vancouver staff to develop ideas for activities in Metro Vancouver regional parks.
This is the introduction to a new program that hopefully is going to spawn into generations of youth being involved in our parks.
The first visit was in spring to North Vancouver's Capilano River Regional Park.
Patsqual Tanoya.
It began with a special welcome from the Squamish Nation.
What I just said is it's really good to see each and every one of you today. We're on the shores of Humulchison River, or Stalk as we would say in our language, which means flowing water. And I'm really honored to be here today.
I'm very happy that the Squamish Nation is joining us because they don't just do this for anybody.
Once outdoors, even the occasional raindrop couldn't dampen the enthusiasm. Fast forward to summer, when the next activity brought technology into the mix.
Today they're going to be going geocaching in canoes.
GPS units, I've got extra.
We're calling it canoe caching. And what that means is that they have handheld GPS units and they're going to be taking them out on the water as they paddle to find a special coordinate that's loaded into their GPS. And at that coordinate, they're going to find a treasure. We have our wonderful little red fox pins, and they're going to leave a red fox pin in the treasure chest.
Here, I got a pin here for you.
Sweet.
And in exchange, they're gonna maybe take something out as well and write their names in the logbook to say that they found this treasure by using their GPS units.
I have absolutely no experience actually. We kept going away, we kept going off to the side, but eventually we figured out how to do the steering.
It was actually pretty fun though.
Yeah.
And
what do you think?
Yeah, it was fun because we had to find, it was challenging. It's hard to paddle and stuff.
These kids, they're coming from East Vancouver and they're very, very focused in on a small neighborhood that they don't quite often get to leave. I never even knew this lake existed, so it was really nice to look at all the birds and kind of just canoe out on the lake.
Being in the different environment fostered mentorship opportunities.
I like just, being there and just a voice that they could talk to without having to feel judged because, I've been there, done that too, so I'm just kind of passing on the experiences for the younger generations.
Those are the type of words that inspire Councillor Lewis, who himself inspired the youth. Here's something else you can do at Campbell Valley. Ride a horse. There's a very active equestrian center here and 14 kilometers of horse-friendly trails. Have a great ride. Thank you. Now, if you're not into horses, you can always jump on your bike and check out Metro Vancouver's Greenways. Here's a look at one of them. Do you love sitting in traffic? Are you crazy about the smell of car exhaust? Is your idea of a good time hiding from the sun, never leaving your house? If so, then you should definitely stay away from the Seymour River Regional Greenway in North Vancouver. But if all of this is your idea of the perfect commute, then you better check it out. But just what is a greenway? It's part trail, part bike path, part linear park. It's like a pathrick.
Well, we just call it a greenway.
Hey, Dania. Where'd you come from?
Oh, I just was working on the trail here.
Oh, right. Well, how would you describe it?
Well, this is a pathway that was created with Metro Vancouver, Capilano University, the province of BC, and the District of North Vancouver to create a safe spot and a beautiful pathway for people to get from A to B. It's a great alternative to being on the roads, and if you continue up this path, you can get all the way to the Seymour Reservoir and even see where your drinking water comes from.
Currently, the Greenway stretches from the north end of the Lower Seymour Conservation Reserve all the way south to Mount Seymour Parkway, providing a gorgeous connection between the Lower Seymour Conservation Reserve, Lynn Canyon Park, the Baden-Powell Trail, and Capilano University. Once construction of the Greenway's final sections are completed, it will continue through to the waterfront at Burrard Inlet, providing even more access. The Greenway is the perfect green alternative for your daily commute if you live, work, or study in the area. But even if you don't, it's your car-free gateway to exploring amazing destinations like Lynn Canyon, Lynn Headwaters Regional Park, and the Lower Seymour Conservation Reserve. So whether you go by bike or your own 2 feet, give the Seymour River Regional Greenway a try, because it sure beats the alternative.
Oh, come on!
There are thousands of trees in Metro Vancouver's regional park system. They're beautiful to look at and provide important habitat to many animals, which is why it's so important to respond quickly in case of a forest fire. That's why park staff learn basic firefighting skills each year before hot summer weather sets in. From the air, the forests of our watersheds are a spectacular sight. But these impressive stands of trees also represent potential fuel for forest fires. Metro Vancouver's Watershed Management Division provides wildland forest protection in these forested areas, but it also works with the Parks Division to help battle fires within the region's parklands.
If we're showing up, we're going to a heli attack fire, initial attack fire. This is going to be the equipment you're going to be arriving on scene with, as well as your personal packs and a fuel canister.
In 2012, an exceptionally cold, wet spring supplied the perfect training ground for park staff to learn the basics of fire suppression.
We take them and do some practical type stuff with our different pumps, talk about some safety components when we're out in a sort of a forest type setting, and really try and reiterate some of the key messaging, safety messaging and preparedness messaging. So if staff is asked to go to a fire and they've never been to a fire before, they at least would feel comfortable showing up and be prepared so we could deploy and use them on an incident.
Park staff receive training so they can respond to small fires in our regional parks. But in a larger wildfire, they might be called upon to supplement Metro Vancouver's 3-person initial attack crew, because fast response is key to the overall strategy.
Fires are detected quite quickly here due to a lot of air traffic. There's a lot of heavy population base, so there's a lot of people who report fires. In the province, we run roughly about a 95% success rate at initial attack. And that's really the goal, is to get in there quickly and suppress it before you get larger fires. It's safer for the firefighters, it reduces cost, and is much more sustainable in the long term because you're not tying up a whole lot of resource and a whole lot of expense with heavy equipment and aircraft, burning significant amounts of fuel and things like that.
Lightning is a significant cause of fires in hard-to-access watershed areas, where wildfires can spread quickly if they're not knocked down right away. But Metro Vancouver's fire suppression crew takes all fires seriously, since since even the smallest blaze has the potential to affect Metro Vancouver's air quality.
The issues come from unattended campfires or people not putting them out properly. And if they're left to smolder, then things can grow depending on how dry the forest fuels are.
We're right on the edge of a city, so you have 2 million plus people. A lot of people don't realize the effect they can have when they, toss a cigarette butt on the ground or light a campfire and don't do it safely, or do it in an area or at a time of the season when it's not appropriate to do it.
Okay. Initial attack crew members appreciate the worth in what they do, not just putting out fires, but helping to protect a very special place.
Anyone who spends a lot of time working the bush, even if they're a logger or wildfire fighter, a biologist, anything, I think people all kind of gain that appreciation for the wilderness and the forest. Nobody wants to see what we have gone. So yeah, it's nice to be able to contribute in some way into preserving what we have.
The parks and all our different natural areas are very nice, and we want to preserve and protect them. And so we would hope that everybody visiting them that come to the parks and Lower Seymour are respectful and think about their actions when they're out there to help protect all our parks and natural areas.
We all have too much stuff, but getting rid of it in a sustainable way is tough. Like all that old sports gear or that leftover paint that can't go to the landfill. Metro Vancouver's new We Recycle app turns your iPhone into a reuse and recycling powerhouse. It'll find the nearest place for your stuff to go. Simple, sustainable. Everything has its place. We Recycle, now available in the App Store.
Wow, what a view. I'm told you can pretty much see into southern Washington state from here on a clear day. Campbell Valley became a regional park in 1978. Metro Vancouver built the regional park system over the last 46 years, and today has 22 regional parks all the way from Bowen Island to the Fraser Valley. It's all part of Metro Vancouver's commitment to getting people into the great outdoors and protecting our local environment. The latest park to join the regional park system is a unique joint venture between Metro Vancouver and the Fraser Valley Regional District, Sumas Mountain.
Inspiration Point was the site chosen to announce a new interregional park that will be operated jointly by Metro Vancouver and the Fraser Valley Regional District in the cultural homelands of the Stolo and Sumas First Nations.
The two regional districts will work together to plan, manage, and engage others in British Columbia's first interregional park. That's worth celebrating. You can put your hands together for that.
Sumas Mountain Interregional Park comprises lands totaling 1,471 acres. The park is made up of existing Fraser Valley Regional Parklands, as well as property on the mountain's south and west flanks, owned by Metro Vancouver and the City of Abbotsford.
This is going to be symbolic of how regions can come together, how local governments can come together, how First Nations and local government can come together for the betterment of our society. To say that we're all here together and we're going to make this grow and become a better place.
Metro Vancouver and the Fraser Valley Regional District have decided to work together on one park. It's never been done before. It's also really important for several other reasons. One of which is the Experience the Fraser project. It means that we're linking up the Fraser River with some of the really important ecosystems that feed that river, that make it the magnificent river that it is.
Sumas Mountain is home to more than 40 species at risk, including the peregrine falcon, Oregon forest snails, and red-legged frogs. It's also one of only 3 places in BC where you can find the very rare phantom orchid.
I want to welcome people who really enjoy hiking, mountain biking, non-motorized ways of getting around a park. Because your car will get you into the park, but the way to see it is going to be on foot or on your bike. Slowly appreciate the fact that there are bird species here you're not going to see in the valley. Appreciate the fact that there's an ecosystem here that is not much found in any of the other areas of either regional district. So come up here, spend some time, let yourself be quiet. Spend some time in the silence in this park and listen to it. It has a lot to say.
Over at the South Valley entrance, you'll find the Lock Hill Schoolhouse. It was built way back in 1924 and operated as a one-room school until 1975. It was moved here to join the site's other heritage buildings. Preserving history is so important, which is why we recently decided to document the history of Burnaby Lake Regional Park and the volunteers that have made the park what it is today. Man-made homes for hundreds of birds. Kilometers of trails to walk. An army of volunteers fighting invasive weeds. These things and more combine to make Burnaby Lake Regional Park what it is today, thanks to the efforts of a group of people known as the Burnaby Lake Park Association.
This week we're going to head to the other end of the lake.
Today, there are 3 surviving members of what is known as the original Group of 10. Now in their 80s, these men have just as much passion for the lake as they did 50 years ago, when the park was nothing like it is now.
I'd come down in a rowboat and I'd look around and I'd find the creeks, and I still remember the smell because of the sewage and the oil and all the other stuff that was dumped into the lake. Back in 1972, the Park Commission proposed a stream bylaw to Burnaby, and Burnaby accepted that. They started to fix up the sewage because all the storm sewer lines all drained into Burnaby Lake one way or another.
We thought that if we were going to make progress, it had to encompass a greater variety of people that are interested in the lake and the outdoors, and so we opened it up and let other people come in.
It was a community, and all those fellows lived in Burnaby, you know, as I was telling you, the original 10. And in fact, we have a book called The Group of 10, about when we started and how we went about it all.
I suggested that we should build a trail surrounding Burnaby Lake to protect it from misuse, preserve it for the public as a nature preserve, because it's really a beautiful place.
The driving force behind the trail building project was Bob Gardner. He knew the city of Burnaby wasn't able to dedicate funds to trail building, but there was federal government money available, and Gardner figured out how to acquire it for his beloved park.
He put together a proposal, and we got our first grant. There was enough money there to hire 5 or 6 people.
We enjoyed about 2 or 3 meetings a year where we get together at Mrs. Gardner's place and the tea and everything and have our official meeting and you know what we're working on next. So the projects went from one project to another.
Bob Gardner was what held it all together, and the cement behind that was his wife.
By 1995, Gardner had been able to get more than $1 million worth of grants. By that time, the trail system that's now integral to the park was well underway.
The only way to have people come down there, and that's to have them come down where it's pleasant. Before, it was impossible to walk through.
Now, it's sort of beyond our wildest dreams. If you come out here on weekends, you almost have traffic control.
The reopening of a brand new boardwalk at Piper Spit in September of '94 was followed by the completion of the Loop Trail 2 years later. The realization of a long-held vision by the Burnaby Lake Park Association. A bench in Bob Gardner's memory stands facing the butterfly garden outside the Nature House, a facility that also owes its existence to Gardner's knack for acquiring government funds, and the Park Association's willingness to pitch in with free labor.
We were hoping that we could have a nature house built here, but there was never any money for a purpose like that. This was a Burnaby city property at the time. So our proposal was, look, we'll take it over and we'll renovate it to your standards.
That's good enough.
After reaching that goal, the volunteer group was able to shift its focus away from infrastructure to programs that continue today, like the care and maintenance of 250 bird nest boxes around the lake.
This is our foe, beautiful but deadly.
And the continuing effort to rid the park of invasive weeds through the regularly scheduled Weed Busters events.
The Burnaby Lake Park Association is a driving force in making this happen. We are very fortunate to have a community around Burnaby Lake that cares about this place and wants to ensure that this wildlife is accessible to people for many more years.
Of the 3 surviving founders, only Joe Sadowski is still able to be actively involved in the Park Association. A younger group is now in charge, and so the legacy of the group of 10 lives on.
They've always been a public participant, and I enjoyed it, and I got a hell of a lot out of it. I hope to leave the world a little better place than what I've found it, not what I can strip out of it and turn into money.
It's just a very, very satisfying feeling that you've been a part of it. Come out on weekends, look at the cross-section of people that are here, and I think that's marvelous, that these people are coming out and they're saying, wow.
Well, I'm just glad it's still here, and I hope others will maintain it just the way it is and keep on it.
Well, here we are back at the Nature House. We'd love to show you more, but that's all we have time for in this episode. We hope you enjoyed our quick look around Campbell Valley Regional Park. Trust me, you'll love to visit it in person. You can find the map and all the information you need at metrovancouver.org. Do let us know what you think about today's episode or give us story ideas. We're all ears. You can reach us via email at sustainableregion@metrovancouver.org. And remember, you can watch and share our videos online anytime at metrovancouver.org/videos. For the Sustainable Region, I'm Candace Ng. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.